Living rent-free is seemingly the dream, but just like having a sugar daddy or living with your parents, it comes with expectations. And if you think I was gonna talk about house sitting like those other basic bitches, then you know what? You're right. So living in other people's houses and watching their cute little pets is pretty easy, to be honest, but there are some downsides of house sitting. Ready? Okay, some of the positives of house sitting, obviously, living rent-free is awesome. The next thing is sometimes you get to live in really dope places that are nicer than you would normally be able to afford, or they're in areas that you would never usually live in. For example, we had a place in Sydney, Australia, where it was right downtown. It was absolutely amazing. One cute dog, super chill, super easy, and we would have never usually been able to stay in that neighborhood because we didn't even know it existed. Yet, one of the things is you might end up on Big Brother. The other thing is, honestly, you don't have a sense of your own home. You're totally walking into somebody else's life and you more or less have to adapt to their life, which isn't inherently bad. Again, you're living rent-free. You have a lack of freedom in a sense because you are committed to this animal that you've said you're not gonna kill. You are tied down to the commitment. These people are leaving town, so you can't just be like, oh, just kidding, never mind. Oh, Alex FaceTime videoing. What up?
You got the club.
Do I just hang up? No. Sometimes you get to stay in places that are absolutely amazing, and other times you might get slightly catfished. For example, we got this place that was in the Blue Mountains, which is a very expensive place in Australia to be able to stay. We were there for 10 days and we knew there was animals. We knew it was a little more rustic, but what we didn't know is that the place wasn't really gonna be clean. There was not gonna be any Wi-Fi, and there was gonna be ducks, quail, rabbit, chickens, and 5 cats living in the house. So sometimes there's a little bit of a catfish situation, but that doesn't happen very often. So I wouldn't be too worried about that if you're looking into house sitting. Some of the requirements I think that you have to be able to house sit is you have to be really chill and be able to go with the flow, because like I said, you're stepping into somebody else's world and they might not do things the way you're gonna do, and you simply have to adapt to their lifestyle. You're living in their house, you're taking care of their pets. So you have to be super chill and be able to go with the flow. And like the catfish situation, you just have to roll with it. Obviously, another requirement is you are pet sitting, so you should probably love pets and want to actually take care of pets and know how to take care of pets. That's a very basic standard. And to optimize house sitting, you really need a super flexible schedule. It's harder to get a house sit that's like, oh, I need a house sit directly from June 1st to June 25th, because a lot of times those dates aren't gonna exactly line up. If you have a super open schedule, that is where you're gonna find the most success, the best house sits, and the ones that fit best for you in the locations that you want. I'm 27 and my partner's 29, and I honestly do think that us being a little bit older does help us get certain house sits. I think that if you were in your early 20s, it might be a little bit harder just because of the stigma of young people not being responsible. I'm gonna give you the tea. The #1 house sitting website that almost everybody's heard of is Trusted House Sitters. It's everywhere in the world. You can get a house sit basically anywhere you want, with any style, for any length. There's ones that are 1 day and there's some that are 4 months. So it really just depends. That's the super common one. And if you are specifically in Australia, where we've gotten all of our house sits, Aussie House Sitters, I'll put a link below. It's $50 to sign up, and honestly, there's a lot of people that post house sits on there. It's way more popular. If you're in Australia, specifically Aussie House Sitters, and then Trusted House Sitters that everybody knows. It's also an app. You can get that one, and that's all around the world. But it does have more competition, so it's harder to find ones on there because there's way more people applying. These 2 websites specifically are free. Like, you don't get paid to sit and you don't pay them to stay. The entire point is that it's mutually beneficial. The house owner and the pet owner gets free pet care, and you get free accommodation in where you're staying. However, there are certain websites that you can do your research and try to find where you get paid house sitters. I have a friend in LA who got paid $100 a day to live in a super sick pad and take care of one tiny little chihuahua. So there are places out there. However, that one did come from word of mouth and referral. But getting paid is a possibility if you dig deep enough. And obviously that's the goal, to get paid to go stay in someone's house and take care of their super easy pet. But that's just not the reality in most cases. House sitting is honestly a super amazing way to see the world on a budget. Accommodation is by far the most expensive part of travel, and so eliminating that could make you travel for much longer on your budget, or just be able to go places that you usually wouldn't be able to go and afford. So also you can genuinely get a house sit basically anywhere in the world. Literally go look at trusted house sitters and just go look at where all of the house sits are. Lucy would like to say that she really wants you to subscribe to the channel. She would like you to support me because she really loved me taking care of her for the past 2 months. And as a momentum to her, you should subscribe. Do it for Lucy. Come on, do it for Lucy.